So now the truth spills out. The money was never missing to begin with. Tiffany steps away, and suddenly everyone's acting shocked like, "Whoa, look what just popped up." Of course, the funds were always sitting there. Napoleon gave himself a raise without blinking. The board signed off on budgets, shuffled the money around, and did all the things Tiffany got dragged for. So maybe she wasn't pocketing cash. Maybe she just didn't want to show anyone her cards. And now, Napoleon's sitting there looking confused like, "Wait, so she really didn't do anything?" "Yeah. Welcome to the transparency lesson you skipped. Here's the thing, Napoleon. If you want to preach transparency, maybe start by being upfront. You're trying to separate yourself from Tiffany, but all you're doing is dressing up the same sketchy behavior with more polished language. Saying you're translucent doesn't make you any less secretive. Honestly, the only thing see-through is that tired playbook you're running. Don't strut around like you flipped the script when all you did was change the font. Hey, y'all, it's your girl J9 Eve. Go ahead and smash that like button, hit subscribe, share the video, and drop your takes in the comments. Let's talk about that last Thornton Township meeting. People said the board seemed all tense and defensive. To me, looked like the same performance as always. What actually stood out wasn't the folks at the table, it was the ones at the mic. The residents were saying all kinds of off-the-wall things, and some of it had me laughing out loud. But in the grand scheme, just your regular community chaos. Now there was one guy who really caught my attention, Mr. Christopher Gonzalez. Something about what he said rubbed me all the way wrong. I've never trusted him. You feel the same? Maybe it's just me. But ever since he randomly name-dropped Tiffany and helped her slide into that supervisor seat, I've been suspicious. Now he's back up there talking slick, and the energy he's giving, full-on serpent mode. When he started talking, I literally had to pause the video and rewind. Like, did he really just say that? So we're gonna break it down together, because it needs unpacking. You know I love to talk, but I promise this one's worth it. Let's roll the clip. So here's what I already knew. Tiffany never liked explaining anything to anybody. Anytime someone asked a question, she acted like it was disrespectful. Her attitude was, "Why don't you just trust me?" And then she'd go on this whole second chance hiring spree, bringing in people with records and calling it redemption. Cool concept, sure. But when your whole team has a rap sheet, that's a pattern, not a coincidence. And then she expected us to co-sign the budget without ever seeing the details. Like, what if the entire thing was just money funneling back to her? Nobody knew. She kept everything close to the chest. So now people are acting like all the tension came from her just being secretive. No one knew the numbers. No one saw the spending. But now that she's out, magically everything's clear? Suddenly Napoleon gets a raise, and people are making informed decisions? What does that say? Are you telling me Tiffany wasn't stealing? She was just bad at sharing? That maybe she wasn't corrupt, just closed off and stubborn? Because if we have money now, we had it then. I remember her saying it 100 times, "We have money." But if anyone asked to see it, she'd say, "I don't like your tone." So was this whole storm just a result of her refusing to be open? If she was required to show the budget and didn't, not because she was robbing folks, but because she didn't trust anyone, that changes everything. That's what I need someone to explain to me. Because now we're budgeting with real clarity. We know what's available, we know what's being spent. That's how it should have been from the jump. I never wanted to slash services. I wanted to grow them responsibly. And now, we're finally doing that. Budgets matter, and getting them approved is serious business. Back to the general assistance budget. Folks had questions about the tax refund project. That's something the township has tried before, but now we've got actual figures to go off of. Oh, and that tax refund idea Tiffany was always talking about? Girl, this is your cue. Speak up, because this man is basically admitting you weren't wrong, just difficult, which is exactly what I've been saying. I knew most of the drama came from your refusal to cooperate. You acted like, "I don't owe anybody answers." And when you carry that attitude long enough, People start assuming you've got something to hide. If you're supposed to share financial records and you refuse, even if you're not stealing, you're still planting seeds of doubt. People are going to wonder what's buried in those books. Even if they weren't suspicious at first, they will be after enough stonewalling. That distrust? You earned it, whether you meant to or not. But let me be real. That doesn't mean you don't get to take a little victory lap. It doesn't mean you can't jump back in the spotlight and be like, see, I wasn't stealing. Y'all just couldn't handle me. Go ahead and sell that fake book you keep teasing, even though we all know it's vaporware. You're the only person bold enough to promote a book that doesn't even exist yet. And if it ever shows up, it'll be one crumpled page, nothing but a soggy sandwich of a story. Still, if you want to step out and say, they destroyed everything just to get rid of me, go for it. Tell your side. Come back, Tiffany. At least. On this Gonzalez thing, I'll back you. Pinky promise. Now about Gonzalez, he needs to stop running his mouth. He's exposing himself every time he speaks. He thinks he sounds sharp, but it's giving unintentional comedy. In the past, they'd just throw out the tax refund idea like it was candy, but I always said no. We need hard numbers, a full breakdown, and real answers before approving anything. And guess what? Now we finally have the facts. We didn't before. That's how progress works. Not just within the board, but alongside the residents. I could give you a million examples, but just imagine what Napoleon's thinking right now hearing all this. Like, wait, so Tiffany wasn't actually breaking laws? She just ghosted on the communication side, and all this backlash came from that? If that's true, then Napoleon has to be sweating. Like, dang, if she got dragged for being secretive, what happens if I do the same? Or worse? Lesson time, Napoleon. It's called transparency. Be clear. Be vulnerable. Be so transparent we can see your midlife crisis. The supervisor made some solid points about it. At the end of the day, it's all about conversation, not just among the board, but with the community. Questions and answers. Dialogue. And thankfully, after 63 days, we're finally starting to see that happen. It's like dating. You're still learning the other person's quirks. That's how you build trust. Unless you're trying to shoot your shot at Napoleon, who is very married. Please sit down. This is a meeting, not Hinge. Anyway, we're figuring this out together, residents included. That's the real truth. Now here's where it gets ridiculous. Don't worry, y'all, I'm actually going to do my job now. Excuse me? Are you saying that until today you've just been collecting taxpayer money and playing games? So, this whole time, it wasn't about public service? It was about flexing on Tiffany? And now suddenly you feel like showing up? What you think you're saying, Chris, is not what's landing. You sound foolish. Please stop before it gets worse. But yes, shout out to the supervisor, the staff, and the residents who came with real questions. Keep asking. You deserve answers, even the uncomfortable ones. That's how this is supposed to work. No more sidestepping. We're finally getting the info we've been asking for, not just vibes and speculation. And let's talk about that one dude clapping. That had to be a family member, because who else would applaud that nonsense? Maybe someone pitied him, like, he'll notice if nobody claps, so fine. But honestly, that was a flop, Chris. Hey, Gonzalez, next time you feel the urge to speak, don't. Last time you opened your mouth, Tiffany Henyard became township supervisor, and ever since then, we've been stuck in the same loop of questions and no answers. You didn't get your way, so now you've flipped the script and latched onto someone else. It's not giving truth, it's giving opportunist. And seeing Maravant up there? Just weird. She doesn't fit. Maybe she's not built for this kind of space, which is why she sticks out so bad. These people get paid to be here, but half of them don't know what they're doing. Or worse, they're here for reasons that don't sit right. I don't like it. Feel off. Anyway, back to Chris. He thought he was dropping knowledge, but ended up proving something. Tiffany didn't.